Hi guys, it's Tara and welcome to Crafting with Curly Cues. Today I am super excited to be part of the Tupelo Designs LLC January 2016 video hop. First what I'm going to do is share with you guys a couple of the amazing things that are happening over at Tupelo Designs LLC for the month of January. So to start, these are the blending tools that Mike makes himself. They are super comfortable in your hand and you are going to get a free one of these with every purchase that you make. They use those Tim Holtz blending pads I showed there, so you don't even have to buy anything special for your stash. You already have what you need for these. So every purchase gets a free one. And this is the nonstick craft mat. It's really thick, great quality, awesome to work with no matter what your project. And there will be a giveaway for 2 of these in the month of January, and every purchase enters you to win. So diving right into my project, you can see I'm going to use these great products that you are eligible to get complimentary from Tupelo Designs LLC this month in January. So I'm going to start for my background on my card here with a piece of watercolor cardstock and a couple colors of distress ink. I've got peacock feathers and tumbled glass. And these are a couple of my favorite colors to make kind of a sky scene. So I really just wanted to use my really fun Bow Bunny glitter paste that I'm going to bust out later. That's part of my Tupelo Designs LLC January design team package. So I'll show that to you in a little bit. So really that's where I started with the idea for this card is I'm like, I want to really use that glitter paste. So I decided that I wanted to create just a really fun kind of sky background here. So I'm using my fabulous blending tools here to create just some nice even blending. You can see how great these blend in. And I got to tell you, they are super comfortable in my hand. I've never used a blending tool with a handle like this. I've always used more with just like kind of a straight stick handle. And this was really, really cool to be able to just kind of get a good grip on it and be able to really come in. I found that I was able to blend a lot more evenly instead of getting funny pressure in one spot or another. So that was helpful. So this is that really awesome Bow Bunny glitter paste. So this is the color Pink Punch, and I had to pick this up in my January design team package because I thought the color was just perfect for Valentine's Day. So to do this, you could see I put one line of adhesive from my ATG gun on the back, and I'm going to stick that to my nonstick craft mat. And then I'm going to use this stencil from My Favorite Things, which was also part of my design team package. And I'm going to put some really pretty pink glittery stars on the back of this sky scene that I've created on this piece of watercolor cardstock. So because that mat that I'm working on is non-stick, I'm able to just not have to put anything down. I can put this glitter paste right over the top and not have to worry about getting it onto the mat because it's just going to wipe up with a baby wipe later with no problem. And that adhesive that I stuck on the back of this piece of cardstock to do this is not a temporary adhesive, it's a permanent adhesive, but because this is the non-stick craft mat, it just pops right up later. So, I mean, super handy. This craft mat is a really great surface to work on, kind of no matter what you're doing. It's going to clean up really well and your stuff isn't going to stick to it, which is really awesome. So I am just getting a nice, good, even layer of this stuff all over the top, and I'm just kind of scraping off to make sure it's nice and even. It's not quite as thick as an embossing paste, so I do go back here in a moment, like to one star where I felt like I could kind of see through the glitter, and I wanted to make sure that there was lots of it on there. And I will give you guys a tip if you're working with this stuff, clean your stencil off right away. I waited a little bit on mine, and it was able to dry, and holy moly, it took some scrubbing. So this is the Sweetheart Tales stamp set from Newton's Nook, also in my design team package, and I'm going to use it to create my card today. So this is just a scrap of some Nina Solar White that I had laying around. It actually came out of my shaker window, which I'll show you later. And I'm going to take the adorable little owl in that stamp set, which was the selling point for me. I love owls. I'm obsessed. And I'm going to stamp him out in some Memento Tuxedo Black ink because I am going to color him in with some Copic markers here. So I am just coming in with a different bunch of different shades of the red violets, and I'm going to make a pretty pink little owl. And I got to be honest with you guys, I can't believe this that I'm saying this, but I think this might be one of the first times that I've ever colored in a critter not in realistic colors. Like I tend to really be pretty literal with my coloring, and like I actually reached for my brown tones and then I was like, you know what? I'm doing like a really fun whimsical card here. I'm gonna make my owl pink. So I went for it. And I really enjoy the way that these colors are blending in. I'm using a bunch of different shades here, and so it's allowing me to really get some nice shading and be able to make a really fun, pretty popping pink on this that I think coordinates really well with the bright, fun pink color of that Bow Bunny glitter paste that I used before. So I'm already obviously getting into doing like Valentine's Day cards. I can't even believe that it's almost Valentine's Day, but hey, you know, it's like one holiday to the next, right? Christmas is over, New Year's is over. We got to focus ahead now. The card making season continues. But I wanted to share with you guys too while I am coloring here that this is a hop. So in the link in the description box below, you're going to find the links to all the other design team members' YouTube channels, and they are going to have videos featuring amazing products from Tupelo Designs LLC. And if you leave a comment on every single one of our videos, you are entered in the giveaway. So they are going to give away 2 $25 gift cards to the shop. So the generous folks over at Tupelo, Dan and Mike and Jane, have set up this hop for you guys so you can head over and see all the amazing things that the shop has to offer in the month of January. So in addition to the free blending tool and then the craft mat giveaway, they're also doing international shipping has started this month, which is awesome. And then for the month of January, you're going to get some discounted rates on that. So if you're not in the US and you've wanted to check out the shop, this is the greatest time for you to do that. So head on over there. And then also there's some bonus credit when you refer a friend. So lots of good stuff going on over at Tupelo Designs LLC this month. So make sure you check that out and make sure you leave a comment here so that you're entered to win one of 2 $25 gift cards. This blog hop's going to be open, video hop is going to be open until the 10th of January. So you have the week to check out all of the design team videos and leave your comments. And then that drawing will be done after the hop is complete. So make sure you check that out. So now that my little owl is all colored, I have fussy cut her out with my scissors, and I'm just going to take my black soot distress marker and line the edge of that fussy cut piece just to make sure that it looks like I cut it out perfectly, because let me tell you, I did not, and I need all the help I can get. So this is a really great trick to use. I would recommend having a marker that you use just for this because it does kind of destroy the tip of your marker a little bit. So now I'm going to come in with some pieces that I pre-cut ahead of time, and I've got a top folding A2 card base made with some Nina Solar White, and I'm just kind of evening that out because my fold got a little bit crooked. And then over on the side you can see I have a frame that I used a journaling card die that I had in my stash to cut out of the middle, and that was the middle was where I stamped my owl. And then I am going to use some pieces of Nina Solar White that I use the Lawn Fawn Puffy Cloud border to create some super cute little clouds. So you can see I've got my distress inked and glitter pasted background there, and I'm just going to create a nice little whimsical scene for my little owl to be hanging out in. So first things first, I got to get the transparency on the back of my shaker window here. So I'm just going to apply some adhesive all the way around that frame, and then I'm going to come in with my transparency and just go ahead and adhere that straight down. So nice and easy. And now I've got to kind of figure out some of the spacing on some of my stuff. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how I want those two cloud borders to line up with each other when they're finally on the card. And this is one of those moments, and I do this sometimes when I craft, and I bet you guys do too, where I kept fussing with it. I kept moving it back and forth and all around, and I finally was like, you know what? I'm just going to put the glue on the back, and I'm just going to stick it on. And that's where it's going to be. Because to be honest, it doesn't really matter if the tall fluff is like a millimeter to the left of the tall fluff on the front. I was getting pretty picky and I needed to just chill out with my pickiness. So I just went ahead and stuck that right on there. And now I am going to trim off the extra. So now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and get my little watercolor, I call it watercolor, distress ink panel all kind of adhesived up here, and then I'm going to stick it down onto my card base. And I'm just going to use my front frame just to kind of help me a little bit and make sure that I get that where it's going to be covered by the frame entirely. So I'm kind of acting like I'm sticking the whole thing on, but really I'm just pushing that back down there. So now I'm going to figure out where I want the front clouds. And again, I was trying to be too picky, but I eventually just was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And it worked out great. So sometimes you just have to trust your gut. So now I'm going to do a little bit of masking on my sentiment. So this stamp set comes with these adorable little sentiments that have 2 different fonts in them, and I really love that look, and I really love when there's 2 different fonts and one of them is a different color. So I really wanted this sentiment, which says Love Owlwees, which is super cute, to have 2 different colors in it. So I am doing some very picky little post-it tape masking. And I'm sorry it's out of frame. I had to kind of get my face way down in it to see where I was putting that post-it tape. And I am marking off the parts that say love and the ways because I just want the word owl to be in this Wild Rose Lawn Fawn color. So I love Lawn Fawn inks for sentiments. They are super crispy, really awesome. They stamp super well. So I wanted to use a couple of these colors on my sentiment. So once that is inked up, I remove the masking. Make sure you remove the masking. I have done that before where I forgot and then you just get blobs of color on your thing. And now I'm going to stamp that sentiment where I want it. And you can see all I got was the word owl, which is exactly what I wanted. So now I'm going to wipe my sentiment really well with a baby wipe to make sure that all that ink gets off. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to use my post-it tape to mask off the word owl. And then I'll use that black licorice ink from Lawn Fawn to stamp the rest of the sentiment. And that's going to give me a really pretty two-tone sentiment look. You could go in with your ink pad and try to just selectively ink like with the very corner, but I just have the big Lawn Fawn pads. I don't even think they make the small ones. And I thought it would be really hard to get in there because this is actually a pretty small sentiment. So I went ahead and pulled off the pieces and then I just kind of looked really close to make sure there wasn't anything inked that I didn't want it to. Now I'm going to line up the owl and stamp it on there, and you can see that I get this really cool looking two-tone sentiment that coordinates now with the rest of my card. So I just thought that was super fun. It takes a little bit of extra time, so if you didn't want to take the extra time, you could absolutely just stamp it in the solid color, and I think that would look really cute too. But I wanted to just kind of add a little pizzazz there, so I went ahead and did that two-tone stamping. So now I'm going to put my clouds on the front of my panel here. This is one of my favorite things to do, is make a frame and then put part of it in the front and part of it inside the frame. So whether it's clouds or grass borders or whatever, I just for some reason really enjoy the look of having one in front of the frame and one behind the frame. So that's just kind of a thing that I like to do when I'm doing this. So I trim that up so that it's got all the spacing right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and use some foam tape to create my shaker border. So typically I like to use craft foam to create a shaker border, but I know that a lot of you out there prefer to use foam tape. So I thought I would go ahead and do this shaker with the foam tape since it's not a super complicated shaker. And then that way, just for those of you who prefer to do it this way or don't have any craft foam, you can kind of see how easy it is to create a shaker without the craft foam. So I'm just cutting that foam tape in half so that's narrow enough to fit on my frame. And the big key is you just want to make sure that all your foam tape butts up to each other so that your shaker bits don't have any spaces to sneak out. So that's really the main thing, is you want to create a complete closed frame around your shaker window. And then I put a little bit behind those clouds just to create a little bit of extra support there. So now I'm going to bust out my shaker bits, and I have got some sequins from Cartwright's. So I have some 8mm moonshine, and then I have some 4mm rose flat sequins. So I'm going to go ahead, and you can see I haven't even opened these ones yet, so I'm going to bust those open. And I'm going to put a bit of these, and I'm actually adding quite a bit here because it is a pretty big shaker window and I want it to look full. So now I'm going to peel the back off of all of my foam, and I'm going to stick that right down on the front. And I did actually have to kind of half stick it and then wiggle it and then stick it all the way because I made that little pile too tall, and my foam wasn't tall enough to accept that giant pile of sequins that I put there. So you can see there's where I kind of shake it and one flies out. Well, that's only because I hadn't pushed it down all the way, not because my shaker card didn't work. So now you can see those in there. I think they coordinate really fun with the stars, and I really love the way they look when they're down in the clouds. Like, I don't know, it's like sprinkles in the clouds. I just love it. It's super fun and whimsical. So now I'm putting some foam tape on the back of my little owl guy, and I'm going to go ahead and stick him on the front. I wanted a little bit of extra dimension with him also, and so he's kind of flying up there in the clouds with all the fun whimsical glitter stars and sequins. I really like how this card turned out. And I'll be 100% honest, I just want you guys to know that even those of us that make videos and whatever, like, I didn't really know where this card was going to go. Like I said, I wanted to use my glitter paste and I wanted to use that stencil. And I honestly had that piece, the background piece, done for a couple of days on my desk staring at it before it came to me what I wanted to do with the rest of this card. So, don't be afraid if you don't have a full concept. Just dive in and see what happens. So of course I have to put some Wink of Stella on my owl because no card is complete without it. And then I'm going to use my Signo Uniball white gel pen to put a little bit of dots on his cheeks and then just add a little bit of detail to the little chest area there, his belly. And then I'm going to go in afterwards with my glossy accents and put just the teensiest little bit of glossy accents on his beak so that there's just that extra little bit of shine on the front of this card. And that is going to complete the card for today. So I really appreciate you guys stopping by. I just love how this card sparkles and shines. That glitter paste, let me tell you, the photos and the video does not do it justice. It is so sparkly in real life. So super fun product. I can't wait to play with it some more. Don't forget to check out the giveaway. Make sure you leave a comment so that you're entered in that and look at all the other beautiful creations that the design team has created for Tupelo Designs LLC this month. You're absolutely going to want to stop by the shop. I've linked everything in my description below, so just make sure you check that out. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much. Bye.